Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase podcast. Today we have with us Leanne Hardisty. She shows people with skin problems how to stop focusing on the symptoms and treating their skin with creams, and how to make sustainable changes to what they're putting into their bodies to heal from the inside out. She is a certified health coach and focuses on the holistic view. Welcome to the show, Leanne. It's wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
So tell us your story. How did you get to this point?
So you can probably hear from the accent, I am not American. I am living in Indiana, close to Indianapolis. I've been in the US about just over 7 years. But prior to that, I was in Northern Ireland. So born and raised there, and I went to work for a Fortune 500 company, in fact, based in Ireland. Worked there for 22 years and ultimately worked there for 22 years. Didn't work anywhere else. They brought me to the US 7 years ago and had me essentially setting up a larger team and consolidating a team here in the US. So I moved here with that opportunity. And during lockdown, I didn't have the long drive to work. I should say that I was supposed to come here for 2 to 3 years to set up this part of the business and then return. But I was enjoying what I was doing. So the company asked me to stay here in the US to get my green card. And then I met an American and I married him. So I have moved here permanently. During lockdown, I didn't have an hour's commute each way. So I decided to become a certified health coach. Always something that I had wanted to do, but just never had, I suppose, time, or thought I didn't have time to do it. So used the time where I didn't have the commute to do that and just really loved it. And I had a little girl pretty late in life. I had her in June of 2022. And when I returned to work, realized I was seeing her an hour a day. So I decided to resign, which was a huge deal for me. At that point, I had really progressed up the ladder in this organization. So I was executive level, very comfortable in my life and what I was earning. But I resigned and I opened and founded a company called Your Skin Sister. And that had come from struggles I had had for over 2 decades. In fact, I had struggled with acne and essentially didn't know at the time, but was treating the symptoms, focused on what I was putting onto my skin and not into my body or other lifestyle changes. And whenever I got divorced many years ago from my first husband, I was going to be on the dating scene again. And after 12 years, and I had said, my confidence was shattered. And I had said, if I'm going to start to go on dates again, there is no way I'm going to go there thinking they're staring at my skin. And my confidence was already low after the divorce. So I set on a journey to work out how to get to the root cause and how to heal my skin. And that's exactly what I did. And through diet and lifestyle and mindset, that's my 3 pillars, through a combination of those things, I healed my own skin in less than 12 weeks, which I could not believe after struggling for 20 years. So after that point, I have been helping others informally heal their skin, because I know what it's like, and it's not just superficial. People who haven't struggled with acne don't realize the impact it has on confidence, not wanting to go out, not wanting to show up. So because I'm so passionate about that, I literally want to run up to people and say, you don't need to be struggling with this. So I launched Your Skin Sister about June, I think, of last year, formally, once I had resigned from my full-time position. And that's where I brought in my health coaching certification, because I was able to heal my skin holistically through those changes. So complete life transformation, with moving to the US, marrying an American, quitting my very stable job and position. That's all I knew, having my baby girl, and then going into entrepreneurship, which was just a huge change for me.
Wow. What a story. I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, I can see how your skin would be like breaking out, and your skin is your largest organ. People don't realize that it's your warning signal that something's not right inside.
Right.
And it's easy to think that I'll just slather this stuff on and miraculously things are going to change.
Right.
And having skin issues, I have skin issues. I have rosacea really bad. I have a really good person who helps me with makeup. It really can wreak havoc on your confidence when your skin is messed up on your face. And I've been sober for about 7 months now, and it actually is helping it a lot to clear up. So it's another one of those things where you just, looking at what you're eating and making those little changes are huge. And it's pretty miraculous that you were able to clear your skin up in just 12 weeks after struggling with it for so long. Because usually if you have a long run up to something, it's going to take quite a while to get it to wind back down.
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of factors come to play in the health of your gut. If you've been taking a load of antibiotics, if you've been on birth control, your family history, all those sorts of things. If you've been through a pregnancy, I think there's a ton of different things. If what you've been using on your skin, because that disrupts a lot of those acne products are just so harsh that they disrupt the natural skin barrier, even though you think they're doing good. So there's so many factors that come to play as to how long, but the body is an amazing thing that you can heal it so quickly. But the gut health, that's one thing that was a huge benefit to me. Through corporate, I got to travel extensively in Asia. In fact, one year I went a week a month. So I was there over 2 weekends. And I really got to see the Eastern world's view of the gut health, gut, skin, ultimately skin connection. Like you said, it's a reflection of what's going on inside. And I remember going around having my translator and driver take me around herbal type places and writing down in Chinese so I could go with the note. But none of that worked because I was just doing one thing in isolation, because acne is it's complex, like you said. It's not something you switch overnight, even though we all pray for that. It's complex. It can be unique to the individual because everyone's gut microbiome and everyone's history, like I explained, is very different.
But stress
is huge. Yeah, I was in a very demanding position, and you don't realize the stress that puts on the body.
So you were able to find these different herbs and stuff in your journey? Didn't mean to interrupt that
I
story,
was just always obsessed by trying to find something, and I obviously met a lot of people whenever I was in my travels in China, and I was always asking, because there's such an association there between our gut health, which I think it's becoming more prevalent here, particularly maybe for me as a health coach. I specialize in hormone and gut health. So I'm always reading up on it. I've done my certifications through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. So I'm always getting their latest information. So I'm in the midst of it. But for all those years, like I said, for nearly 20 years, I had never made the connection. I was never thinking about my gut health and was creating my skin. So I was fascinated by that I went to various places in India and China. So I brought a lot of what I learned there and what I heard from them back and have built that into my programs. Like I said, I don't think it's, in my experience, and for those I've been helping so far, I don't think it's one thing. So people will come to me and say, just tell me what not to eat, or just tell me one supplement that I can go take. And some people are very fortunate where I've told them maybe a couple of things and they've done it and it's worked. But for others like me, I had to take various steps with my diet, my lifestyle, and my mindset. Because I don't know if you've ever read the book Psycho-Cybernetics. It's actually written by a cosmetic surgeon, and it talks a lot about his patients that have come in with some disfigurements or something like that, and he works on them, and you would never think they had it, but yet in their mind, their self-image and their self-confidence and the way they see themselves doesn't change, even though he's corrected whatever the issue was. And I found that personally, even today, coming on to this years later, we had people staying and my diet was just all over the place. And in fact, all weekend we ate candy and I woke up with a spot which I haven't had in quite a while. And all that comes flooding back to me. That, oh, we're going on vacation, I'm going to be going on the beach, I don't want to wear makeup, and all it, even though I've done a lot of work in myself. So that's why I bring a lot of the mindset work and the power of the mind into my programs, as well as to alongside the diet and lifestyle changes, because it's so crucial, the way we think of ourselves, because then that's ultimately how others see ourselves.
Do you work with women with makeup too? Because makeup's a huge thing. If you are wearing cheap makeup, it's a recipe for disaster. It just like clogs your pores. There's a lot about wearing makeup that people don't think about.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you have a lot of acne and you're probably, or skin issues, you're probably wearing a lot of makeup because you want to cover it all up.
Right. Yeah, that's part of what I teach. So it's a step by step to here's what to eat, here's what not to eat, and here's how we can get your diet varied and wide and eat what you enjoy without being paranoid, finding out what your triggers are, because it might only be one thing. So you're not eating no dairy, no soy, no gluten, no sugar, no nothing, no life type thing. And then a strand of it is the skincare, which is obviously vital and part of it. I just don't want people to think it's number one. I think diet and lifestyle changes are up there, and then as we filter down the skincare, what we use on our face absolutely complements that. And I have a series of DIY skincare that works really well for acne prone skin. In fact, perfect for anti-aging and whatever as well, but really good for acne prone skin. So I have step-by-steps with that. I show people how to, if it's their favorite makeup and they love it, how to assess the ingredients to see, is it clogging their pores? Is it non-comedogenic, which means it won't block their pores? So I teach them how to find out those things. And then as well as other recommendations. I'm not associated with any brands or anything like that, but I will share the EWG is a great resource that shares the natural products. They do a lot of testing, so I'll share links like that to recommended products. And then of course I have tried and tested so many over the years. I never recommend any that I haven't tried, and if I've tried something that claims to be totally natural, it breaks me out, I'm going to tell that on my
for sure.
So I have a full list that I have vetted and has worked well for me, and I've seen work for others and my clients I've been working with.
That's got to be so hugely helpful to people. And how do people work with you if they?
There, I've two key ways. I was just inundated at the start, so I just didn't have the bandwidth for the number of one-to-ones. So from that, I branched out, and I have two key programs, which are online programs, self-paced. The first one is really my community. I call it my Skin Sister Society. My business is Your Skin Sister. And it's really built off how I felt on my journey. I felt very lonely, very isolated. I was so embarrassed. I talked to my mother once about it years ago, and she told me, don't be silly, it's some spot, it's a teenage thing. And I was so embarrassed. And apart from some doctors I went to see, I never talked to anybody about it again. So it felt very lonely, very embarrassing. So I've built my Skin Sister Society, which is essentially a monthly program where you can go into my portal and I'll do a monthly video with my top tips, whether that's diet, lifestyle, mindset. I'll give recipes. I'll give, here's a food swap. If you love these chips, eat these ones and not these ones. These are much more skin friendly. So I'll work through things like that. I give bonuses, I do meditations, but the overall is a community that, you're not on your own. I'll be there and you can access all the previous months. There's a lot of information goes in there, from use this makeup, not this makeup, eat this, don't eat this, here's recipes, all those sorts of things. And then my core program is my Clear Skin Blueprint, which is it's essentially a group program where you can go online self-paced. There's guidebooks, there's recipe packs, there's trackers, there's videos step by step for every section. It's really 3 pillars. It's diet, lifestyle, and then mindset. The 3 that I believe, once I brought those together, after struggling for 20 years, I was able to clear my skin in less than 12 weeks, which I couldn't believe. So I built all of that into a step-by-step program where I felt that I had to go through so much literature, so many books, white papers. So I've stripped it right back to give here's what you need to do, here's high level why. And then I have monthly Q&A where everyone can dial into a Zoom call, camera on, camera off, doesn't matter. And you could come and ask me your questions. And then in between those live calls, I have messaging where in that core program, people can message me with their questions to get support. I obviously do one-to-ones, but they're limited. And that's why I created that group program, again, for a sense of community. And I got feedback that I just heard that person ask that question. I hadn't thought of that. And I was really motivated. I just joined. That person just cleared their skin. So it was great to see. Or they were talking about a recipe that I hadn't even thought of, or they talked about what they were eating at a restaurant that made me think, well, I can go out and eat and enjoy things. So I think just that sense of community, that they know they're not on their own, that they're going to do this. I'm going to help them every step of the way because I know what it's like. Because you can become paranoid. You can become, oh, I'm scared to try this, and it's expensive. You're reading online, people are having success with the product, you're buying it. You don't know how long to leave it before you figure out it's not working for you. Is it making your skin worse? Is that purging, or is it just not working for you? So there's all those questions that people just need that support as they come through it.
It's always great to have other people that are walking on the same path you're walking on, and that asking questions that, like, wow, that's a great question. I hadn't even thought about that. You don't get that in one-on-one coaching, but
No.
and you make friends for a lifetime. I can't tell you how many friends I've made just from joining communities or getting in group coaching programs, and they're just like, wow, these people, everybody has something so unique to bring to the pot that like, the more connections you can make, I think the faster the transformation happens too.
I absolutely agree. So I set that up, and I spent last summer really recording the videos and putting the workbooks together and all of the information on everything you need to know in all areas, so that I can make it as easy as possible. And because people are busy and they maybe want to get up at 5 a.m. and listen to a video, or 10 o'clock at night when their kids are in bed, and they don't like to be held to times.
Yeah, and that's another thing that really helps your skin when you're not stressed about, oh my gosh, I paid for all of this and I can only access it during these times, and
Yeah,
just you don't need that kind of stress in your life.
I get it. I worked in the corporate world a long time. I worked night and day. I traveled, and I was stressed at the hilt and did not realize it for a long time. I thought I was Superwoman, I think, at times. And
I think we
nothing
were
phased
trained
to
to
me.
be
And
super women.
yeah,
It's like you can have it all. You can have a family. You could be the perfect wife. You can keep the greatest house, and you can work 60 hours a week for half the pay.
yeah,
Yeah, no. I think women have caught on to this shenanigans.
good.
And that's
And
what,
it took me too long.
well, I think it's taken a lot of people too long, but we're getting there. It's like
Right.
Cohen was like, hey, I don't have to leave my house to, have a good life and really make a difference. I mean, I'm
Right.
sure what you're doing right now is way more fulfilling than whatever you were doing for 20 years with that corporation, but you're enriching somebody
Absolutely.
else's dream or making their dream come true.
Well, that's it. And I had thought about it for quite a number of years, but I just never had the nerve to do it. And then when I was seeing my little girl, who I waited for a long time to have, an hour a day, I thought, this isn't. No, it took a lot for me to resign. I mean, sometimes I look back and go, what the hell have I done? What? But I just have to keep the end in mind. Like you said, the amount of people that I'm helping and building that community that they wouldn't have had, which I didn't have, and only wish that I had had. I just felt I had to go and discover all myself.
I'm happy for you that you had your daughter late in life. I had children late in life also, and it was the best experience. And even though I'm older now, I still have young kids. It's
Right.
great. Kind
So
of
yeah,
keeps you
that
in touch.
it does. And even that journey brought back a lot of fear for me on my skin, because I was going off birth control and I had 2 miscarriages and I did IVF and all those things and pumping hormone into my body. And that just filled me with fear and dread. Like, is my skin going to be a mess again, after enjoying the luxury of not worrying about my skin, because that consumes so many of my thoughts. How's my skin look today? And were people staring at me and all those things? So it was so good that I had learned all of this before I went on that journey through, particularly IVF, which was a very tough experience, but worth it.
Yeah, very tough. I have a daughter-in-law who struggled with that, and she's
Okay.
still. They did IVF, and she still has struggles with her body because of all of these
Right.
things that she had to go through
Right.
in order to have her 2 children that are just amazing. I'm super glad she went through it.
Well, that's it. Yeah. In looking back, I'm like, I never want to do that again. I didn't have the opportunity, even if I wanted to, but so I was one and done. But I just wouldn't want to go through all of that again. It is pretty harsh on the body. Now, I had the benefit and luxury that I know a lot. I'm a health coach, so I know a lot about the gut. I know a lot about hormones, all that connection. I've been studying that for a while, so I was able to coach myself through that. But when you've got morning sickness, and it's not morning, it's every minute of every day for the first so many weeks, I was not wanting to eat lettuce and kale and spinach and all of those
Right.
things.
Salt and vinegar potato chips sounds so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you offer a free guide. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I have put together a free 3-day kickstart guide, essentially. So again, it's just based on what would I have needed at that time. So it steps through why diet is so important. And there's really 3 key reasons why. And I give that very high level. Look, here's why what you eat is so important. Here's what it triggers in your body. And then I get into the detail then of here's key foods to eat. And I think there's 9 or 10 recipes in there that you can use over, I think it's 9 recipes, 3 per day for the 3 days. It's a 3-day kickstart guide, just to give people a feel for what a skin friendly or acne friendly diet would look like. And there's lots of other tips in there. So it's pretty comprehensive kickstart guide where people can get a feel for what it looks like, how it's different to what they do today. And there's also some information in there on me and my journey and how I was able to clear my skin, just to try and motivate some people, because I know as I was going through it, I thought, why me? And it's never going to happen. I'm never going to clear this. And I felt that I was on this, I now call it the acne vicious circle of struggle, where you're just sad and you've just got this real sadness when you look in the mirror. Why me? And then you move to anger. Sometimes you see these people with beautiful skin, you're like, why is that not me? And then you move into hope, because you read online that someone has bought a product and it's really worked, and you go buy it, and then you're really hopeful it's going to work for you. And then you move into the impatience, as how long do I need to leave this for? I remember asking myself that so many times, and people will say, well, it's 8 to 12 weeks. You need to give it a go to see if it's going to work. And then I've very sensitive skin as well as acne prone, so I didn't know if my skin was getting worse, which it was most of the time when I changed products, because it was breaking out because of the product, or was it purging, this infamous word you always hear, that it's just getting all the bad stuff out and then it'll heal. So I always think of it as that circle of sadness, madness, hope, and impatience, and then you just keep going round and round, which I felt I did for 20 years. And then as I keep talking to people, I hear the same thing. And in fact, when I was pregnant, I got chatting to another lady in the waiting room at the doctor's surgery, and this was her second child. For her first child, she was bedridden for the 3rd trimester, and she was delighted because her skin was so bad. I thought pregnancy and life is tough enough without you being actually really glad that you're being told to go to bed for your 3rd trimester because you didn't want anyone to see you. And
Yeah,
when I heard
that's so
that, I
sad.
thought, you know what, I've done the right thing. I have launched this business. I've done the right thing.
You're helping so many women, probably men and women, but I
Right.
think women, because we're supposed to meet some idealistic standard that no one meets. But guys, I'll tell you, my husband has a beard, and he comes in while I'm getting dressed in the morning, and he like very carefully brushes his beard. Oh, I'm done. Yeah. I'll be another 20 minutes, dear.
Yep.
And we just have this image that we're supposed to be like, I don't know.
Yeah. Wake up beautiful and roll out of bed. And
Yeah, never happens. I promise you, no matter how many TV shows you watch where their makeup is always perfect when they wake up in the morning, that's not real life.
exactly. Exactly. Although I would say now it's 9-day difference for me from when I did have acne, where I was waking up, I was dreading, I don't even want to go look in the mirror. I was always making sure the lights were dim. I never wanted the big lights to be on me, and I wouldn't have gone out without makeup. Whereas I take my daughter to daycare now and I don't wear any and don't care. But that took me a while.
That's awesome. I'm actually really proud of that you can do that, and just that your skin is so good that you can step into it and embrace it.
Right.
So how do people get in touch with you if they want to go on this journey with you?
They could go to my website, yourskinsister.com, and that's where they could go and grab my free guide. There's also, I do a weekly blog on a Friday. So there's loads of tips in there. Every Friday they'll be able to go in. It's like the top 3 top supplements to take, or the latest one is let's talk SHIT and why your poop is going to tell you a lot about what's going on with your skin. And how to turn that around. So I talk about all those taboo type topics. So if you go in there, you can go to services and get my free guide. Just send your email and you'll get that in your inbox. You can go get the blog every Friday, or you can see the 2 key programs that I mentioned with the Skin Sister Society, which is a $54 per month program where you got all the information with me live every month, or the Clear Skin Blueprint, which is my real signature online program, the group program, where you get monthly coaching and Q&A, as well as the ongoing messenger, which is really Monday to Friday. I do that messenger service for any questions that people will have. Or I'm at Your Skin Sister on Instagram or Facebook. So I go on there and give my top tips and do Q&A on there as well.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So what's the one thing that you hope the audience takes away from our conversation today?
Well, acne wise, I think they don't need to struggle with it. I only wish I had known what I know now 20 years ago. I wish one of the doctors had said to me, let's talk about your gut. Let's talk about what's going on inside your body that's making this react. No one said that to me. No one. I think actually one of my friend's moms said it to me once about chocolate, and I thought it was like an old wives' tale type thing. So I would say, do not give up hope. I talked about that vicious circle of struggle. We can get that roller coaster can get stopped. I've seen it time and time again with people I'm working with, and I saw it personally. And I think at an overall level, the key thing for me through my journey is not just the acne, but be yourself. And I heard so many of my bosses as I progressed up the career ladder used to always said to me as I was moving on, just be yourself. And I wonder why are they all saying that to me? And they're like, just let you shine through, and that's why you're progressing so well. Because you're unique at what you do. And I think everyone's the same way. I think I tried to be Miss Professional, and I was a negotiator, and I was, no one's going to walk over me. And I brought out all that masculine energy and brought that persona for a lot of years. And through this journey to entrepreneurship, and being a mother, I've been able to step back and do what many of my mentors through those 22 years told me, is just be yourself.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's wonderful to meet you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the You World Order, or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.